So in a division where you have two of the top teams in the AFC this year in the Bengals and Ravens, you have a team in the Pittsburgh Steelers who is a big question mark coming into this season. You really don't know what to expect from this team. They went 9-8 last season, somehow getting a winning record when they shouldn't really have been even in the conversation for having one. They had a rookie quarterback last season, Kenny Pickett. We'll see how Kenny Pickett does this season coming up. But you know what? Before I start talking about their team just in general, I have a special guest for this video. Let's bring him in and have him talk about some Pittsburgh Steelers football.
From watching top college highlights to looking into Las Vegas flights, starting 1-4, ending 9-7, winning 7 of their last 9. The Steelers season last year was all over the place. And obviously, with that being a very down and then up season where you saw a strong upswing in the second half, you'd like to see that continue. You'd like to see the offensive line that showed improvement and has received strong investments in Broderick Jones, Isaac Samalu, and Nate Herbig continue to take strides, be better. You'd like to see them go into the season healthy, as post-bye week when that big swing happened, Najee Harris looked a lot healthier and was running well. You'd like to see that efficiency in the run game carry over into this season. You'd like to see the secondary that, despite leading the league in interceptions, was kind of rebuilt this offseason. Lost Cam Sutton, that one's going to sting a lot. Lost Terrell Edmonds, that will sting more than a lot of Steelers fans like to think. He was a very consistent and solid player for the team for years, constantly improving, never missing a game. Losing Devin Bush is whatever. I think picking up Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts and Quan Alexander more than make up for that. Also hoping for internal improvement from Mark Robinson. Kenny Pickett did not turn the ball over after the bye week. He had one interception after that bye week. He received Allen Robinson this offseason, on top of all of the offensive line investments and hopefully internal improvements. Maybe Dan Moore carves a role for himself in this or on this team in the future. Picking up Patrick Peterson and Joey Porter Jr. hopefully will offset the loss of, and Keanu Neal will hopefully offset the losses of Terrell Edmonds and Cam Sutton. I don't see either guy necessarily replacing Sutton 1-1, but in terms of productivity and long-term fit, hopefully Joey Porter Jr. is the alpha corner that we haven't had since arguably Ike Taylor, that can just guard the Jamar Chases of the division. The rest of the draft class, Keanu Benton is hopefully going to be eating up space on the inside and taking our run defense primarily to another level that we just haven't been able to. Kind of struggled on defending the run the past few years. Darnell Washington, if he stays healthy, I see him being a very productive player, essentially, as he's been marketed to us. He is a third tackle when blocking, and as far as a red zone threat goes, there's not really evidence of him either being able to go up over people and catch the ball or not be able to. It wasn't something he was asked to do at Georgia. But if that's a weapon for us, then our offense should be much improved just off of the idea that we struggled in the red zone mightily last season for some reason. Him being a good blocker helps. Another thing that it's been fun, it's been a training camp story, it's probably not going to matter, but I want to mention it, is that Kendrick Green, the center that we drafted a few years ago, 2 years ago we drafted him to start. Last year he did not get a helmet or play a game once. He's now working out as a fullback and doing all the running back drills, so if I get one Kendrick Green rushing touchdown next year, I'm happy. Going forward this year, I mean, you want to see TJ Watt stay healthy. That's probably the second most important thing. Kenny Pickett showing improvement and just reaching that tier of guys that you can win with. Say, if we're getting comparisons to Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott by the end of the year, we're probably in a good spot. Right now we have to beat the Johnny Manziel allegations is where we're at now. But yeah, if we could be in that second, third tier of quarterback, then we're more than all right. Offensive line should see improvements just off of who they've brought in. Secondary probably takes a step back. Levi Wallace and Minka Fitzpatrick are the two real mainstays from last year. Everyone else is... DeMonte Casey was there, but he will be stepping into a bigger role if he's healthy enough to. Everyone else is new, and that scares me. But the front seven is as nasty as it's always been. But like I said, they've led the league in sacks over the last 5 or 6 years. Led the league in like total for those years. Led the league in interceptions specifically last year. I think 11 wins is a very fair expectation for me to put on them, considering they went 9-7 in what was supposed to be the year of our downfall. As cliche as it is, it all comes down to how much the second-year quarterback improves. They've put everything they could in place around a quarterback on a rookie contract for him to succeed. And that's really all it comes down to. Everyone else knows, we know what they are. Kenny Pickett's the big question mark. George Pickens needs to just improve at creating separation and route running. And if he does that, then there's no reason why he can't be in that top 5 discussion, because he catches everything and he is incredibly athletic. The one drive they had last night where he caught the touchdown, where he made a guy miss and picked up not 30 yards, but like 15 yards after the catch, was very encouraging. With good health, this Steelers team, like I said, floor should be 10-11 wins. Should be competing for a playoff spot, if not the division. But as you know, with football, it all comes down to who's the healthiest team in the league. I think their floor is still 9 wins, just because I refuse to believe Mike Tomlin finishes below 500 until I see it. I just want to thank Wolf for letting me get on and talk about my Steelers for a little bit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Billy Dono. If you guys want to follow his Twitch, you can actually click on the link in the description below, as well as just search it up here. Here's the link to his Twitch right here, right now. And yeah, I don't really think that Billy hit all the key strides I had to actually talk about the Steelers depth chart. So we'll just make a quick rundown through it real quickly before I talk about the roster, or talk about the scheduling, sorry, and give my predictions for the win-loss record this season. Kenny Pickett, that's the big question mark for this team. George Pickens is looking really good as a second year in the league. We'll see if he actually has a downfall from there, but besides that, he should be fine. They pick up Allen Robinson, good receiver. It's basically Kenny Pickett's season to show that he can be a quarterback in the NFL. I mean, you have Allen Robinson, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. Those are 3 great receivers alone right there. And they have a decent tight end that can catch the ball. Offensive line's a little worrisome for the Steelers. They've always been really worrisome since they lost Big Ben. Yeah, hell, even before they lost Big Ben was getting completely destroyed in the pocket sometimes too, because the offensive line can't really hold their own. On the defensive side of things, the whole big thing here is keeping TJ Watt healthy. If he stays healthy, this defense is, one of the toughest defenses to play in the league. I mean, when you have TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward on the line, it gets freaking problematic for the quarterback. Levi Wallace is a decent CB, as well as Minka Fitzpatrick being one of the best safeties. Last year, he had really a down year, but I think he can, prop himself up this year and actually show off tonight. Let's get over to the scheduling. So, the average I have for the Steelers is going 8-9 this season. I have a ceiling of them going 13-4 and a floor of going 6-11. Like Billy said before, Mike Tomlin does not like going negative in any of his other seasons. He always has a winning season. This year, the schedule's a little bit tough for the Steelers. Let's just get into it. Week 1 take on the Niners. I have them losing to the Niners. I have them beating the Browns in Pittsburgh. It could be a close game, though. I put 50-50 on it. They beat the Raiders in Week 3. Beat the Texans in Week 4. Lose to the Ravens. I think the Ravens are actually a tough team this year. Even though it's in Pittsburgh, I still have them losing to the Ravens. I have them losing to the Rams. I think the Rams are going to be a decent team this year as well. Losing to the Jaguars, beating the Titans, beating the Packers, losing to the Browns in Cleveland, then losing to Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Beating the Arizona Cardinals, losing to the Patriots. I mean, yeah, that's, you know, the Patriots and Steelers rivalry might be like gone since Tom Brady left, but the Patriots have still, you know, been winning that rivalry even after Brady left. Beating the Colts, beating the Bengals. They lose to the Seahawks, and then they lose to the Ravens to end the season in Baltimore. Now, I can see the Steelers going 9-8 as well. I mean, I just give an average of 8 and 9 because, like, looking at the schedule, looking at their games, I think these are games they're going to lose and win. But I can still see them having a winning season, going 9-8 this season, or even like a 10-6 record or 10-7 record. Trying to make the trying to make the postseason. I don't think they will, but they'll be close in it. But I don't see them going a floor of 6-11. I really don't see them losing like that many games, but at the same time, it's like there's always a possibility in the NFL, right? So you gotta take that into account. Maybe some injuries happen, and of course, injuries they go downhill from. So yeah, that is my prediction for the Steelers schedule. So my final thoughts about the Steelers this season, it's gonna all rely on Kenny Pickett this season. If Kenny Pickett has a good season, the Steelers should be decent mindset, should be in a decent like situation. If they somehow go 13-4 and actually they get their ceiling to 13-4, I'd be shocked. I think, like Billy, I think they could win 10 games. They could win at least 9 games. If they somehow get 13, then they're doing above than expected, and Kenny Pickett's more than just a decent quarterback that can get wins. If Kenny Pickett is a quarterback to get wins, they'll have 8, 9, 10 win season this year. It's all about the improvement of Kenny Pickett, and on the defensive side, it's all about keeping TJ Watt healthy. If TJ Watt can stay healthy, it's dominating defense. We've seen last year how the Steelers play with TJ Watt on the field and how they play without TJ Watt on the field, and that's a big difference for the Steelers. In fact, I think when he was out for a little bit of those weeks as well, that's when they were on a big losing streak, and then he came back and the Steelers started winning games, and they won their last 7 of 8, I believe it was. I believe that's what Billy said in the video itself. But yeah, so yeah, I think the Steelers are going to be somewhat of an interesting case this season. They should be at least winning 8 games, but at the same time, if injuries happen, I can see them going 6-11. If they somehow overtake the hump and Kenny Pickett proves to be a better quarterback than what most people think right now, hey, sky's the limit, and maybe we'll be competing for the AFC North. But we have one more team to talk about in the AFC North today, and that's the Cleveland Browns. So up next, we'll have the Cleveland Browns, ladies and gentlemen. Come back for that. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.